Right. Good morning, Dr. Noor and Dr. Sri. Alright. So first, let's begin with our guest today, Dr. Sri. Could you tell us a bit about yourself and company?
Okay, thank you very much, and very good afternoon.
Afternoon, right.
Afternoon. Okay, let me share with you. I'm Dr. Sri. I basically spent about 33 years in the hospitality industry. Okay. And I worked in different parts of the world. And in 2016, I set up this academy of mine called DHS Hospitality Academy. So the objective of this academy is basically to train youth and to place them in the industry. Now, how I came about this is because while working in the hospitality industry and also a short period in the academia, I saw that programs that are being offered don't meet to the needs of the industry. Many students who study hospitality, they basically study, they go for the attachment, and then after that they don't see hospitality as a career. The other one is when you look at in the schools, always teachers, they always have the perception, even when we go and talk to them and tell them that we have programs in hospitality industry, they always ask us to go and talk to the last class. Where they fail to understand that tourism is the number 2 revenue earner for the country, largest employer in the world. Okay. So this is where the DHS came in, and we created a program. When I started, I approached the Malaysian hospitality industry, but they were very reluctant to collaborate with me. Okay. The question is basically they abuse in the sense that even when I presented to them, this is my idea, they say, yeah, everything is good, but we never heard about you. So it ended up in a situation where I had asked them that, at that time I said Malaysia has 28 million population, you know everyone. I mean, so, but I went back to my friends in Singapore, and they were very happy to accept, understood the program. So we started the program as Singapore Work Attachment Program. I mean, the student will study for 1 month, and they go for 6 months attachment in Singapore. And during the first 6 months, they are provided with accommodation, they are provided with duty meals, and they are also given an allowance. And the allowance is about 500 Sing dollars. But as we went on, and even during COVID, we went on, we have turned around this program. We call it the Singapore Industrial Attachment Training Program, where it is now you study for a month. First 1 month is equivalent to 48 hours, and then you go in for 1 year. In 1 year, even during COVID, the beginning stage, they even provided vaccine for the students. The companies paid for their 14 days quarantine, and when the VTL was open, they even decided to pay for the airfare from Kuala Lumpur to Singapore. So the first 6 months, they are given accommodation, duty meal, and they're given an allowance of 600 to 650 Sing dollars. And the second 6 months is everything is provided, only the allowance is higher. So once the student finish, they can earn about 1,005 to 1,008 Sing dollars. Okay. So we have successfully placed about 1,800 students in Singapore. Okay. And this we have become the preferred source into Singapore at this moment. Okay. So and the second part is when we were doing this, we were showcased in TV3, TV1. There were a lot of write-ups about us on this program. And then the Malaysian industry came to us. So this year, June, we signed up with the Malaysian Tourism Council. We came up with a program called Malaysian Industrial Attachment Training Program. And the program is to help B40 and M40 families. So the students didn't have to pay for the tuition fees, accommodation provided. They're given 500 Malaysian ringgit, and they go through a 1 year program, and then they study one hour a week online. And from 2019, just before the COVID, to date, we only trained 600. and we have success stories of students completing the program earning 2002, 2003. Okay. But we have also moved forward with DHS because DHS has an ecosystem. So in Malaysia, we are known as DHS Hospitality Academy. In Singapore, we call it SG Quest. And the good thing is, even in the for the Ministry of Manpower, it will state the name of your guardian as SG Quest. So the parents exactly know where the students are. We don't, so it's very secure. It's very secure. But we have moved one step further. We have come up with a program called Pathway to Global Hospitality. And this program, the students do a 6-month Singapore diploma in Malaysia, and they go for 12 months attachment, which allows them to continue into an advanced diploma and into a degree within 3 years.
That's right.
So this is where that we have. So our ecosystem is we have the Singapore Industrial Attachment Training Program, Malaysian Industrial Attachment Training Program, and Pathway to Global Hospitality. And we are linked now with about 12 Malaysian universities. In Singapore with 2 colleges, even with Cornell University for leadership program. And we also work with the American Hospitality Academy. And yesterday we signed on the American Hotel and Lodging Association. So we are basically covered, and we can now even place students into cruise ships, into international placements in Jeddah, in Poland, in Australia. And
How is this different from other training centers in your industry?
other training centers, yes, they have similar programs, but they don't have placements. Okay, if you ask, the credo of DHS is 2 things. We have a lot of placements. I have 3,000 vacancies now. People are willing to sponsor Malaysian youth into Malaysia. Okay. We even have the what you call it, the job placement. Jobs are there even for graduates. We have tried with 60 graduates from UiTM who have successfully completed their degree, went into Singapore earning from 2004 to 2016 dollars. So this is where that we are moving, but we are coming up with new products. One is a Dubai work attachment. You can go to Dubai. We are creating one Swiss work attachment. We are looking at Japan, Philippines.
Is that your project for 2022 and above?
Yes.
So from this collaboration with Dr. Noor, SustNET, what is your aspiration?
Okay. I mean, with Dr. Noor's company, SustNET, and this one, we are looking into the East Asia country. Okay, because DHS, what we have done is we set up. We own 3 associations. One is the Asia Tourism Association, one is Asia Hospitality Human Resource, and one is the DHS Hospitality Club. So all our students come into the club. And the last 6 months, we have basically done a lot of webinars. And our webinars attracted a lot of people from the industry in Malaysia and also from Indonesia and Philippines. So we have done webinar on safe tourism, we have done webinars in housekeeping, and we have gone and done in every state on nature tourism, culinary tourism, and all these things. And now we have penetrated into Batam, Bintan, Padang, and Bali, and also into Philippines. So next year we are looking into moving into Cambodia, Laos, and Vietnam. We want to have this type of engagement.
Global engagement.
And we also we already went into China with this university, Haidao University or Haikao University. They have an Institute of Safe Tourism, and in one of our webinars they presented, very interesting to see. So for us, DHS now, we are strategic partner of Malaysian Tourism Council, Malaysian Hotel Engineers Association, 2 housekeeping associations in Malaysia, and we see that with our association, Asia Tourism, Asia Hospitality, this is our own ecosystem. we have placements. Placements in the sense that we can place in Singapore, we can place overseas on the ship. International placements we can do, and also in Malaysia we can do placement. So we are ready to move. I mean, to move on a different angle.
Okay. If you could say message to other industry players in your industry, what would you like to ask them to do in relation to this?
Okay, number one is the industry has to mature. Okay. Yes, we went through COVID, but we have to look at that. For me, COVID, yes, we didn't make money, but I think it helped us to do a lot of housekeeping. The 2 years we had, I think, was something good to re-look back your business model, how you want to move, how you want to strategize. And one of the main things that we did is DHS was there, and there was another academy called ASEANA. We were competitors. We fought in the marketplace for the market share in a big way. But during COVID, we met up. Both the owner of ASEANA met up, and now we are together, and we have something called DHS ASEANA. So we prefer to work on a collaborative effort. So I believe that even industry players, they have to see, because today the perception of trainees into the industry, they always think that trainees is cheap labor. Trainees is not cheap labor. Trainees are your future employees.
Yes.
Okay, that is number one. Number two, they have to stop relying on foreign workers. Because when you portray tourism is something you have to show who you have. I think Malaysia is a multiracial country. You have many people living here. And I think that is itself an attraction by itself.
That's true.
So I think these are the two things that they have to look at. And also they have to see when these colleges or academy or universities award, running this type of hospitality program, they have to understand hospitality is not an academic program. It's very hands-on. What you learn is what you're going to do. It is not that you're going to run away. It is very straightforward. So if you get it wrong, it is wrong. So this is where they have to understand.
Okay, thank you. Right, Dr. No, in relation to what Dr. Sri has shared there, could you tell a bit about yourself, your company, and how your aspiration with this collaboration is?
First of all, I would like to congratulate Dr. Sri Kumar for that vision of bringing hospitality to, I would say, a much more self-driven entrepreneur with a lot of concept of sustainability. Now, myself being a certified assessor of green project management, I think with this video that we have that we are recording, this can also be used as part of our assessment, for the GPM boards. Number one is there are 5 elements of the assessment, right? Other than me being an assessor, there will be another 2 assessors that will be coming in to review the video and to see what will be the category of awards that will be given for DHS Academy. Number one, we are talking about here about products, which is the students itself, right? The students. And I believe the students that you are trained are only Malaysians, or is it multi-cultural, ethnic, and various others?
At this moment is Malaysians, but next year we want to look at bringing foreigners into Malaysia. We came up with a program called Experiencing Malaysian Hospitality. So we want them to come to Malaysia to do a 1-year attachment and go back. So it will gain for them to, number one, working in a multiracial type of environment, experiencing Malaysian hospitality, and then how they can enrich, because when we talk about hospitality or tourism, when people come here and go back, they are bringing back, as a tourist they come, they're bringing back their experience. But under Malaysian hospitality is one is experience, but how they can inculcate these values of Malaysian hospitality into their industry. This is what we have to look at.
Okay, there's a transfer of cultural aspect there, yeah?
Right.
Okay, I know that you have been in the industry for more than 35 years, as you say?
33.
33 years, okay. So, and you yourself has already been working all over the world, yeah?
Right.
Mauritius, Dubai, other countries, yourself, yeah? And-
Maldives, Singapore,
Or Maldives and Singapore.
Bangkok.
So you're looking at the blending of how the industry has transformed in the
Correct.
tourism sector. Plus, you are building the human capital of
Correct.
Malaysian talent to be made available to other industries
Correct.
of the similar line,
Correct.
but in cross country.
Correct.
So that when it comes to cross country, there's always this aspect of the visa processing, the elements of that everything has to be done in a
Correct.
proper manner. So I guess your strategy of moving into Singapore as the nearest neighbor, and the fact that they have got high capita income, yeah, as compared to Malaysia. So would that be a very lucrative market for Malaysians who are interested to get into the global market, get themselves talented, get an international certificate? Will this be a gateway to the other countries outside than just
Correct.
Asia?
You see, here in if a student gets 3 credits, they do diploma for 2.5 years. Okay. Now, in the 2.5 years, you are doing only training for 4 months. Now, you study for 2 years plus, and then you do 4 months. Yes, our system says now you have this work-based learning. Okay. Now, hospitality, the challenge is when the marketing people of the school goes, they are always telling hospitality is this and that. They're not telling reality. Okay, so people get into the thing. But whether you are cut to do this industry, that is question number 1. Okay,
What's the criteria?
Okay.
If you want to choose a
because in
students?
in the industry, number 1 is you have to be an extrovert. You must know extracurricular activities. You must know language, how you speak. It doesn't matter even you speak broken English, but you can communicate. Whether you like meeting people, because this industry every day is different. One day you'll have a good day. One day the same fellow who smiled at you the night before will shout at you. So you go through this stuff. Whether you're mentally strong. Okay. So this is where that when we crafted this program, we send our students to Singapore because number 1, Singapore is a safe country. It's very regulated. If anything happens to the kid, also they can. I mean, worst come to worst, they can even swim across and come. I mean, it's not that they need to fly very far and come back. It's very, and you know that your child is safe. Okay. So when we came out from the Singapore Industrial Attachment Training Program, and now we have the pathway to global hospitality, we work with a school in Singapore, which the diploma is recognized by Ministry of Education Singapore, CPE. The Singapore diploma is 6 months. Okay, so the student, we are looking at students who fail from 5. Okay, students who have 1 credit, 2 credit. Imagine if you get 1 credit in Malaysia, you have to sign up for a certificate course for 18 months. After that, you do a diploma for 2 years. After that, you do a degree for another 2 years. So imagine 5.5 years, you are studying and studying and studying and studying, and you are getting 0 income. But in my program, you pay for you come in for the diploma 6 months, you go for an attachment for 1 year, okay, and in 1 year, imagine if you take average 600 Sing dollars, you're earning 7,200 a year, times 3, 21,000. After that, you can work, you earn 1,500, 2,006. You can even study your advanced diploma on the next year for 1 year, and you can even later on save money and go to Switzerland for 9 months or go to UK for a top-up degree. So your 5.5 years that you spend here, you take the same 5.5 years, you have money, you have experience, you have a qualification.
You have income.
Yes. So this is what we want to do. So all our program that we put our students in, there is a return on investment. See, our Malaysian Industrial Attachment Training Program, you pay 500 as a registration fees. The next month, you get back the 500. So nobody can give you a program. You pay 500, and in 1 year you're going to get 6,000.
A win-win situation.
It's a win-win situation. So our Singapore work attachment program is about 5,000 to 6,000 ringgit, but in 1 year you're going to get 21,000 Malaysian ringgit.
I wouldn't say win-win, it's called prosperity. So under our sustainable project management, the shared prosperity concept will be very high when you have the ecosystem have its own business model
Correct.
that gives back to everyone who is going to be the player of it, right?
Correct.
So I would see that the fact that you have created the impact of the people that is going through the process, yeah? And the fact that they have got a lot of motivation, incentive, and the productivity will be very high. But of course, this is job related. In other words, it is not something that you learn and assuming that the future environment is going to be something different. Here is learning as where they are, plus they're earning an income out of their learning, and the fact that they already understood now the environment, that where they are already, getting their certification from. So I would say the fact that this not only save resources. When you talk about save resources, means the planet will be much more greener, right? There's a lot of things that you can cut down costs. And then of course the fact that the same place is your institution. It's the same place is your considered as your academy. Place, the same place is where you also earn income. So I would say the concept of training, on the job training of your nature is very much a hybrid, a blended, integrated version, which many academics probably do not even have the ability to do that, because they are more very much resource based on academic training, whereas yours is very much industrial based, right? So I see this is a much more, as I said, shorten the process, cut down costs. There is an element of learning and not burdening. You see how many students are in debt right now. You can see the issues of people not even able to pay, and they're being branded as non-performance individual. So this create a lot of our current issues right now, right? With the fact that they want to go to study, but they've been branded as borrowers that are not able to pay loan. So would this be a strategy of the future of the education line to indicate that learning is about on the job, and they should not be given what I call a burden of a stress in an environment that they know that they were too young to understood what is it out there, right? So now they want to do. So do you think any other industry can do this, or is it just more suitable for hospitality?
I think other industries also can do this, like programs in logistics, even who have programs like in business, programs in retail. Because today the main concern is employability.
Yes.
Okay, you go into a university, yes. Today what happens? Somebody goes after he finish his degree, he goes for interview, he doesn't get a job. So this is where that when we have done this graduate training program, we have seen universities prepare them to complete the degree. They don't prepare them to seek job. For example, when they come for interview, they will ask, "Can I borrow your pen?" Because you don't blame them, because they are not prepared. They don't know what is expected. Okay. So this is where that when you run programs, you call people for interview. The student has to, sometimes a very simple question. When I talk to the student, I ask them, "Do you know why you are here?" They said, "No, because my lecturer asked me to come, I come." So today you cannot spoon feed. You must tell, like our students, if they are going to go for interview, you give them 48 hours, you tell them this is the company, you go and find out about the company. We are not going to ask you about what you study. In many interviews, they ask, tell me in management what you need to do. So they say planning, organizing. Okay, that is not what we want to ask a student. for us is we want to make sure that when we ask the student, this is the situation, what can you do? So DHS has come up with a model. We don't have a teaching hotel, we don't have a teaching restaurant, we only have classroom. And 1,800 students have been employed. With classroom training, that is our credo. We can turn around somebody in 48 hours into employment. That is number one. Number two, we have tried bringing graduates who have done culinary program, and we also place our students in kitchen. Touch wood, none of our students spill oil on them, but the graduates have spilled oil on them. So today, why we tell this is because the approach that we take. So the approach that we take is basically bringing a soldier, like a soldier. You train him, but when he goes for warfare, it is not that he's going to have a mock-up of war. When you go into the jungle, it's survival.
Yes.
Whether you die or he dies, so you decide. So this is the same concept we put for the student, and we tell them, okay, when you go in, this is what is expected. So we give them not very big hope, minimum hope, but face reality. But what happens in most of the college and universities, when they teach this type of program, we must look at the lecturers or the professors or the trainers. What was their last position in the organization? Because today reading, you also can read. You can buy a book in hospitality, you can read, you can sit for the exam, you will pass.
Yeah.
But what you will need to know is the survival tips. This is where colleges, universities, university colleges, polytechnic are not teaching.
True. Industry relevant needs. No?
Correct.
I think this is where I would say people like us, people from the industry, whether it's from our NGO and its standpoint of view, we are here to bring all the industry players to look at human capital in a different manner, so that we can upskill people directly coming from the people who wants to go into the job and also wants to create a pathway, right? So the fact that you have created a very good pathway from a certificate level to diploma to advanced diploma and also to degree, that itself is a transformation with respect to this education industry.
Correct.
This is itself a challenge to the academic world, in the sense that you're able to crossbreed a lot of the communities here to come into training that is not only cheaper, but also the source of learning is directly with the environment that you have created. Now, when our team is bringing tomorrow today, that means we know the future now has got to be transformed in the manner we are preparing it today, not wait for tomorrow
Correct.
to happen, then only you prepare. So we want to be taking a proactive approach in making a lot of entrepreneurs sustainable, a lot of companies sustainable, a lot of individuals sustainable. So what do you think about our team with respect to its bringing tomorrow today?
I think it's very interesting. I think you could go on a road show on this theme around Malaysia to make people understand. I think the challenge that we face, we are always very excited of very small things that we achieve, which don't allow us to move the next level. Okay. And this Malaysia always starts with new things, very innovative in moving forward. A good example, when we talk about Islamic tourism, we talk about halal tourism, or Muslim-friendly destination. Two countries who's leading in this is Singapore and Thailand. And even Japan has moved into it.
Yes.
Korea has moved into it. But who initiated it? Malaysia initiated. They have an Islamic tourism center. So this is where under DHS, next year we are coming up with the Asia Pacific Center for Halal Hospitality. We already signed up with Al Madinah University on Islamic hospitality. Because you see, when we talk about halal, as a non-Muslim who work in the hospitality industry, they always portray that halal is cutting the chicken well
Yeah.
and not having liquor.
The mindset that it's back there.
But later on, when I start reading, you look at Muslim population, Muslim travel is about $3 billion business of Muslims traveling. When Japanese brought TQM, it didn't make any one of us become Japanese. We even learned the language of Kaizen and all these things. I mean, it became part of life. But when we talk about halal management or halal tourism, it is more than one of cutting chicken and this. How you do your accounting, how you do your recruitment, when you have halal, who your supplier also has to be halal. The transportation has to be halal. Okay? So it is not putting a sticker there in your restaurant. It is a matter of the whole
Supply chain.
the supply chain. And so this is where that we have done a few events. We did the Langkawi one is Muslim friendly destination. We did a webinar. Next year we went to also do something on Islamic tourism, halal tourism. We want people to understand, because here, if you look at Singapore has managed to attract Muslim travelers into the country. Because Singapore wants to portray themselves as a Muslim-friendly destination. Thailand has moved into it. Okay. Japan and Korea, they're moving into it. But why we cannot attract?
Great question there.
Okay. So we are not talking about converting somebody into Islam, or what. We're talking about educating somebody what the religion is all about. So people understand. And why you must have halal. It doesn't mean in halal you are doing something wrong, no. So even yesterday I was talking to this gentleman, we're going to have wakaf tourism. I'm moving into this area.
Wakaf tourism.
Yes, wakaf tourism. So wakaf can be in hospitality, can be in banking, because this is something is a shared prosperity where people don't understand. So maybe for people who are Muslim people, they understand wakaf, but maybe for non-Muslim it's an endowment plan. So how now DHS is looking how from the fees, every student who pays the fees, we can put an endowment plan to help the poor. This is what we are trying to
That's your vision towards.
move into, because at the end of the day, as companies, we have to generate our own source of pool of income. We cannot depend on government to give us grants or subsidies. I think this era is way facing on, because when you move into this, then you know how the whole process works.
True. Doctor, any ending words?
Yeah, as I said, I like to congratulate DHS, and we are rekindling our relationship right now, because as you know, we had been working in the past with respect towards bringing hospitality people to go into Singapore. Now the fact that we have embarked into the new post-era COVID, so that we then understand the new directions and what are the things that can advancedly take place. So this is where when we talk about bringing tomorrow today is one of a fast forward strategy that we want to do in bringing Malaysia together, position in countries as you already set up all the platform. So this is where we want to assist on the train and place program, and where possible we will do a lot of the support, go through our social media and to make people get the right message regarding what we are doing, so that all in all we will have a better ecosystem respect towards whether it's halal tourism, whether it's Muslim friendly tourism, whether it's the hospitality industry for the world. At the end of the day, it's the human capital that we need to develop.
Correct.
Thank you, Dr. Noor and Sri. All the
Dr. Sri.
best. May we reach the aspiration there.
Thank you
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, well done.